We know you're busy. You're constantly looking for that one key piece of knowledge that can really shift your perspective without having to read a dozen books.
Right.
So consider this deep dive your targeted shortcut.
Today, we are unpacking a stack of sources, all focused on what is, arguably one of the most draining and universal challenges we all face.
The inner critic.
The inner critic, that relentless habit of self-judgment.
And our mission today is simple, but it's also, I think, really profound. It's to give you the key tools, all extracted from this guide to self-love, that help release that critical inner voice.
And this is an abstract philosophy. It's about concrete steps to break a very, very old and a deeply unhelpful habit.
Exactly. It's all about immediate action.
It is. The goal here is to break that loop of self-criticism, to move beyond that automatic need to, put yourself down.
And the main tool for this change is something the sources call mirror work.
Mirror work, yeah. It's designed to make you acutely aware, as they put it, of your own negative self-talk.
So before we get into the how-to, let's pause for a second. We need to establish that awareness right now. So a crucial question for you listening. If we could play a tape of your inner monologue right now, this very second, what would it sound like?
And that moment of honest introspection, that awareness is really the only place this journey can begin.
Okay, so if awareness is step one, we have to look at what we're becoming aware of. What is the signature sound of this inner critic, according to the source material?
It's described as this kind of constant low-grade erosion. It's the voice that's perpetually just picking at everything.
A relentless stream.
A relentless negative stream. And it uses these generalized, really painful affirmations. Think about the specific lines it delivers internally, those gut-punching lines like,
I am so stupid.
Exactly, or I'm such a klutz, or even when it projects outward, why do I always attract such inconsiderate people?
And what struck me is that this isn't just passive, it's an active force. The author talks about a time when they were a constant complainer full of self-pity and would often wallow in the pits, as they say.
Yeah.
They realized they were subconsciously creating situations just to reinforce that narrative.
To perpetuate that self-pity loop.
Yeah.
Yes. And this brings us to why this matters so profoundly. The source material makes an absolutely shocking claim.
I remember this part.
It suggests that self-criticism is actually more damaging than self-abuse, like alcohol or drugs.
That is a huge statement.
Yeah.
How do they justify that? I mean, how can constant mental criticism be worse than, say, substance abuse?
Well, the thinking here is all about continuity and identity. While, acute self-abuse might cause very focused, maybe temporary damage, criticism is a perpetual 247 attack on your core identity. It's this relentless erosion of your spirit.
It never stops.
It never stops. As the source says, it certainly doesn't bring out the best in us. It just constantly feeds the most damaging core belief there is. I am not good enough.
And that belief, when it's reinforced daily, just limits your potential everywhere.
It shrivels our spirits. Precisely. And the sources contrast this with our original state. They ask us to remember being a baby, looking at the world with eyes of wonder, just accepting life just as it was.
There wasn't no criticism then.
None.
So where did it come from? How do we go from that perfect acceptance to being our own worst enemy?
The sources argue that it happened when we started to accept the opinions of others and make them your own.
Wow.
As kids, we just don't have the filter to decide if what an adult says about us is true. We just absorb it. You're too loud, you're too slow, you're too sensitive.
And those just become internal commands.
Exactly. The critical voice you hear today is often just a regurgitation of those old external programs.
That framing really makes the solution less about fixing yourself and more about, deprogramming.
Yes.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The solution starts simply by becoming aware of that tape and understanding that this old habit hasn't produced any positive change.
That moment of awareness is the only space you need. Once you realize the criticism is useless, you create a kind of psychological vacuum for a replacement.
And that replacement is consciously playing a new tape of positive affirmations.
Right. And the material suggests starting easy. Don't go for the most unbelievable statement first.
Yeah, that makes sense. Start small.
Start with gentle, self-accepting affirmations like, I love myself and I approve of myself.
Then you can graduate.
You graduate to deeper statements, things like, my opinions are valued. And then there are these two crucial ones. I release the need to criticize myself and...
I've released the need to criticize others.
That's the one. That link is fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah.
But for a cynical listener, How do we reconcile this idea of radical self-love with the practical need for self-improvement? I mean, doesn't self-acceptance just lead to complacency?
That is such an important question. The sources suggest that true foundational self-acceptance, loving yourself as you are now, doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you start growing from a place of support rather than self-punishment. The outcome of releasing that inner critic is that you get in touch with your higher self.
Which, in practical terms, means what?
It means connecting with the part of you that is not defined by old trauma or conditioning. It's the part of you that naturally wants to thrive.
So once that internal landscape shifts,
Mm.
what does this actually look like for the people around you?
This is the powerful, universal ripple effect. The source describes it beautifully. Once you truly stop criticizing yourself, it's amazing how we stop criticizing other people.
When you give yourself permission to just be, flaws and all.
You automatically extend that same grace to everyone else. The sources even note that their little habits no longer bother you as much.
That sounds like genuine peace, which then translates into external tolerance.
And it builds on this really profound concept that everyone is a reflection of us, and what we see in another person we can see in ourselves.
Okay, that's a challenging idea to sit with. If I complain about, I don't know, a coworker, does that mean I secretly want to be like them?
Not necessarily that you want to be them, but that you're complaining about something you reject within yourself. If we complain about someone being lazy, we're probably judging our own need for rest.
Or if we complain about messiness, we're judging our own lack of discipline somewhere.
You got it. The complaint is just a signpost pointing back to some internal self-rejection.
That realization, that unlocks the ultimate freedom, doesn't it?
It does. When you stop judging others, the source material observes they release the need to judge you.
So everybody gets to be free.
Everybody gets to be free. And this freedom comes from acknowledging that feelings are just thoughts in action. We don't need to pile guilt on top of them. Just release the negative thought, and you make space for more positive experiences.
Okay, with that shift in understanding, we have to transition directly into the action plan, because the sources are very prescriptive about this. The day 6 exercises.
Right, and this stage requires commitment. The heart thought for this phase is, I love and accept myself exactly as I am.
Which is followed by a very simple absolute vow.
We will no longer criticize ourselves for anything, starting now.
And the main technique for this is the mirror work we mentioned. For anyone who's unfamiliar, what does this physically involve?
Yeah.
Is it just staring at yourself?
It's more focused,
Yeah.
and the sources are clear. It might feel incredibly awkward or even silly at first. That feeling is just resistance.
And that's normal.
Totally normal. To begin, find a quiet space with a mirror. You look straight into your own eyes. If that's too intense, you can focus on your mouth or your nose instead.
And what are you actually saying to yourself?
You are talking directly to your inner child, that part of you that still needs love, acceptance, and praise. The core affirmations are simple and repetitive. I love you, and I know you are doing the best you can.
And you are perfect just as you are.
And crucially, I approve of you. The material cautions that if you laugh or cry, that's not a failure. That is the old habit breaking down.
So consistency is key.
Absolutely, until that inner voice truly starts to soften.
Beyond the mirror, there's also a journaling exercise designed to really expose the root of this critical habit.
Yes, this one is key because it reveals how outdated the criticism really is. Step 1. List 5 specific things you criticize yourself for.
Okay.
Step 2 is the real insight. Next to each item, write the approximate date you started believing that. This forces you to acknowledge how long you've been picking on yourself.
And the next steps really drive home how useless it all is.
Exactly. You look at that list and you acknowledge that this habit has not produced any positive changes, has it? You realize criticism just doesn't work.
It just makes you feel worse.
Once you see it's an obsolete, ineffective tool, you're truly ready to stop. The final step is to change each of those 5 criticisms into a positive affirmation.
And you carry that list with you.
Carry the list and read it aloud in front of the mirror whenever you feel that judgmental surge return.
The material then concludes with a really powerful meditation for integration.
Yes, and the purpose is simple. To be whole, we must accept all parts of ourselves. The parts you're proud of, the parts that embarrass you, the parts you reject. They are all inseparable.
So it moves us from a state of conditional self-acceptance to unconditional wholeness.
And when your heart is full of love for your whole self, you have an overflow to share. The visualization exercise asks you to mentally place the people you care about in the center of a room to receive love from your overflowing heart.
And what do you visualize happening to them?
You see the child and those people dancing, skipping, and shouting, just expressing exuberant joy. And then you allow your own inner child to go play with them, to feel safe and completely free.
It's a beautiful image.
It's a powerful visualization of universal acceptance, starting with the self. And it ends with this final sweeping affirmation. You are perfect, whole, and complete, and all is well in your wonderful world.
So we've covered some crucial ground today. The core insight is that continuous criticism reinforces that belief of I am not good enough, which is the enemy of growth.
It truly is.
And the pathway out is active self-compassion awareness through things like mirror work and the consistent conscious replacement of those negative thoughts with positive affirmations. That movement from self-punishment to self-support, that's massive progress.
It is. And as you begin to apply these practices, let's leave you with this final thought. The sources assure us that we cannot truly hurt ourselves, and we cannot hurt another person once we genuinely love and accept who we are.
Right.
So, if the absence of self-criticism leads directly to the absence of criticizing others, then what everyday complaint you have, large or small, about the world around you, traffic, your job, a noisy neighbor, what if that's actually just a reflection of an area where you have yet to fully accept yourself?
Something to truly mull over. You've been diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.